to be on this.
This afternoon on Pulse, trying to get the refugees out of the camps. And the U.S. demands the release of 2 fishing boats. Good afternoon. There's more aid on the way to the Rwandan refugee camps in Zaire. An Ontario-based company is sending 2 tons of freeze-dried meals to the 50 Canadian aid workers who are there. Officials are worried that the relief workers aren't getting enough nourishment in the camps. In the meantime, efforts continue to try to convince the refugees to return home. And there are signs those efforts are paying off. Here's Nathan Thomas in Goma, Zaire.
The numbers are still small, but every day more Rwandans take the first tentative steps toward home. They have been warned they might be killed by the new government, but with conditions so bad in Zaire, many think it's worth the risk.
I think it's very good to many people come back to Kigali, but Kigali is free, and to begin to build a country.
It's a 5-day walk to Kigali, and some have been on the road since Sunday. Aid workers in Rwanda say everything seems peaceful.
Kigali is so peaceful. Yesterday I was in Gitarama, about 45 kilometers south of Kigali. There were thousands of people on the road coming back to Kigali. The city market has taken up again.
The markets do have plenty of food, a welcome change for people who have been going hungry as refugees. It's harvest time in Rwanda, which is why aid agencies are encouraging people to go back. If crops are not brought in within a few weeks, there will be no food for a year.
I encourage them, too, to come back. I mean, Goma is hell, and these guys, I've seen no atrocities as I've traveled around.
Indeed, Rwandan soldiers have been helping the returnees, even putting them on trucks to ease the journey. But here in the refugee camps in Zaire, many people are still not convinced it is safe to go back. They are too afraid of retribution. Others, of course, are just too sick and too weak to make the journey. With more food and clean water available daily, health should improve, and the goal of the relief effort is to help the Rwandans move home as quickly as possible. Nathan Thomas, ABC News, Goma.
Cholera is killing 2,000 refugees a day in those camps. Relief workers say the only way to make sure the other refugees survive is to get them out of the camps as quickly as possible.
Compared to the 1 million to 1.2 million people who are actually here, the numbers going back to Rwanda is a trickle. It's just negligible. And so we know that, although we all know that's the only solution and they have to go back and they have to be encouraged and helped, we know that these people here are going to stay for a certain amount of time. But we also know that cholera can kill many of them in a month. And the cholera hasn't even reached its peak here. We know it's going to go even quicker, and it's going to claim even more lives. So, yes, we would all love to bring good news, but there is none to bring you. The cholera epidemic is increasing, actually. We had the latest figures yesterday. In the treatment centers where we work, we have managed to bring the fatality rate down to 15%, which is fantastic. But we know that outside these treatment centers, things are appalling and getting worse. Every day when we arrive at the treatment centers, there are sometimes up to 800 bodies in front of the treatment centers, and that shows that the epidemic just takes a heavier toll by the day. But what needs to be done is political. And even here, we can bring a lot of relief, but the answer to that humanitarian concern must be political. So in a way now, the future lies in their hands. We've got to help them, but they have to help themselves.
A fishing war is heating up between the United States and Canada. The U.S. wants Ottawa to release 2 American fishing vessels. They were seized yesterday off the coast of Newfoundland. The 2 American scallop draggers arrived in St. John's this morning under escort. Their skippers are scheduled to appear in court later today. And several forest fires continue to burn out of control in several areas across the country. The worst one is in British Columbia near Penticton. It covers almost 3,000 hectares, and it's believed the fire was started deliberately. Brian Coxford reports.
Over 3,000 people have been evacuated from over 1,000 homes. And while some miraculously escaped the raging inferno, other homes didn't. As many as 20 houses knocked down in minutes at the height of the blaze. Only the foundations remain. Families' entire possessions lost. some residents are still trying to save what's left.
No, we lost the hay barn. And I don't want to talk right now.
What's happened to your place? Well, the house is standing. The garage is gone. It's burnt all the way around. It's really amazing the house didn't go. You know, there's always experts around. They all figure it should have been put out earlier, but I mean, how do you know? I don't know the inside story about it. I think they're going to have to find out. What happened to them?
Well, they couldn't get away from the fire. They got trapped in the barn. And they died of fire exposure to inhalation.
On the fire line, it's day 6 for this crew from Vancouver. 20 men frustrated by setback after setback as the fire spreads.
Yeah, every day we have a setback. It's you know, we seem to get so far and then get pulled out. So hopefully today we'll actually make some progress.
See it going anywhere?
It's hard to say. I guess it'll depend on the winds.
But right now you're not winning?
I wouldn't think so, no.
This fire may have been deliberately set. The Forest Service isn't revealing details, but says it's turned its findings over to the RCMP, who's investigating it for criminal intent.
There are fewer people collecting unemployment insurance in Canada. Statistics Canada says the number of people collecting UI benefits in May fell to its lowest level in more than 4 years. It says job growth this spring in Canada was the highest in 3 years at 0.8%, with most of the jobs being created in the services sector. And now a look at the morning's markets. Now, I don't know if you're taking in any of the Just for Laughs festival, but our Caroline Van Vlartigan is out there every night trying to pack in as much as she can. It's a rough job. Anyway, last night she came across some very strange people down there.
When you come down to the old port, don't be surprised if the little old lady in front of you suddenly starts doing handstands in the air.
Oh, don't watch my bloomers. Yes! Did you see that? Come on.
Britain's Get a Grip is just one of the 50 acts pumping out laughter at the old port with their own version of the Jane Fonda workout.
Turn round, the Queen might be on the plane. Turn round.
You're in remarkable shape for a woman your age.
I mean, I'm doing my best.
Yeah. She does her exercises in the bathroom every morning. Yeah.
And if you like big band music, well, get set for the big Nazo Band. Oh, sure, they may lose a couple of vital organs along the way, but usually pick up a lot of laughs in the process.
I stand here in front of you. I want to suck on someone's shoe. Yeah!
Officer. Could be our election night special.
Come a long way since Penny Youngman, I think. Yeah, anyways, a fun forecast.
Happy forecast, sunshine the rest of the day, of course, and 2 very pleasant, possibly 3 days coming up.
We'll be right back.
This is Ron Rouge, an afternoon game in Atlanta. The Expos are going for their 9th in a row.
What's this? Kids with a cellular phone? Introducing Amigo from Cantel. Affordable cellular for people like you who thought they'd never use it. At last, there's cellular that fills your need for safety. For only $19.95 a month, you can have a regular phone for your car. A phone they can use to reach you and you can use to reach them. Just by calling this number, you can have Amigo Safety. It plugs into any cigarette lighter. Imagine, for just 66 cents a day, it's that easy to have the kind of safety and security you've always wanted for your family. You can have that good feeling right now. Have your credit card handy and call. We'll get your Amigo Safety to you within 48 hours. Or if you'd like even greater freedom, you can have it for only $29.95 a month. This is Amigo Personal, and it goes anywhere. Wherever you are, you can call friends, and they can call you. And all your weekend calls are free. Amigo Safety, Amigo Personal. You make the choice and call this number now. Ask how for just $10 more you can get unlimited evening calling. Your Amigo phone comes right out of the box with easy-to-follow instructions. Just pick it up and call. As easy as that, you're talking safety, you're talking personal. But hurry, because if you order right now, you'll be eligible to win the use of a Jaguar XJSC. So call now, because at last your affordable cellular is only a phone call away. Amigo.
I woke up this morning, was feeling sad. A leaky diaper was what I had.
Let's break for Huggies Ultra Trim, the thin diaper that really performs. It's so absorbent it protects against leaks like no diaper ever before. Huggies Ultra Trim for incredible leakage protection.
Now my diaper's working like a really great diaper should. Huggies Ultra Trim just make me feel so good.
Want to hug the forecast. A nice day and likely to remain so. Some high cloud this evening, a fair night, and 2 terrific days coming up. Temperatures around normal. Speaking of temps, right now it's 25. Finally warming up at St. John's, the same at Charlottetown, 22. For Haligonians, 19 at St. John, NB, 22 at Quebec. The 21 here, 20 at Ottawa, it's 23 right now. Toronto way. The West, 20 at Winnipeg, 19 at Regina, 20 at Calgary, the 18 for Edmonton, and a 17 at Vancouver. Here's our satellite show. Another great day across all of British Columbia. Sunshine through southern Alberta, all of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, northwestern Ontario, and the Lakehead. Good shape there. The Lower Lakes, Sunshine, Toronto area, you know the story here. Heavy overcast over the Lower St. Lawrence, parts of the Maritimes, not bad through Cape Breton and Newfoundland, finally clearing out certainly the eastern portion, and fair weather cloud all along the Atlantic seaboard into southern Florida. Looking the coastal low, no problem from it for us. We've got this dry slot across the lower lakes into southwestern Quebec. It will hold this afternoon. We should bump it up to 26 as our high around 3 or 4 this afternoon. This system moving up the coast, giving us some high thin cloud here in the valley this evening. Here's the map for tomorrow, still with a second low moving up the coast. Wet weather for New England tomorrow. Could have some showers in the eastern townships, but the ridge will hold for us here. So sunshine tomorrow, a few cloudy periods. Let's call it fair weather cloud, a pleasant day here in the valley and north of the city. Possible showers in the eastern townships. Ending the week still with that dry slot across the lower lakes into southwestern Quebec. We could pick up a little cloud from yet another, a third system roaring up the coast. A very wet day on Friday all along the coastal areas, but here again in the valley it'll be dry, fair weather cloud, mixture of cloud and sunshine. Could have some high overcast later in the day on Friday from this system coming up the coast, but as I say, it should remain dry. Then into Saturday and Sunday, looks like a fair weekend, seasonable temperatures, and certainly no wet weather expected Friday and Saturday for Montreal and north of the city. Here's our forecast then for the entire CFCF 12 viewing area. Sunshine this afternoon, dry, a little breezy at times, high of 26 in a few hours. And tomorrow, a fair day, a mixture of cloud and sunshine. Could have some showers in the eastern townships, high of 26 for the city tomorrow. And Friday, another fair day. It'll be warm up to 27 or better downtown. Overnight low 15, 26, the high tomorrow. 11 and 25 in the Laurentians, 15 and 25 for Sherbrooke and the townships, 13 and 23 for Quebec, 15 and 26 for Ottawa. A look at the long-range forecast. There's the weekend. A sunny day on Saturday, high of 27. A mixture of cloud and sunshine. Second half on Sunday, again a high of 27. Looks like a nice weekend. Right now, at Dorval, it's 21. As I say, we should get up to 26. 20 at Ottawa, Saint-Jovite, and Trois-Rivières. Elsewhere, Quebec is 20, 21 at Chicoutimi, a bit on the cool side, 17 at Baie-Comeau. The sun will set at 8:31, rise tomorrow at 5:33. The wind out of the southwest, moderate at times. Humidity right now is 68%. And our present temperature is 21 Celsius, 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Have a great afternoon. Mitz.
Thanks, Don. And coming up, increasing security around Jewish sites in Britain.
The Travel Home Video Library wants to help you plan a unique and memorable holiday this summer. Imagine hiking through the Austrian Alps, or seeing Switzerland by train, or taking a coach tour through England. It's all part of a 3-episode package that's specially priced to help you plan a European getaway with a difference. Call our hotline now at 1-800-567-4381 and simply ask for our European summer getaway. Happy traveling.
O.J. Simpson. He's making television news every day. But what's going to happen to his controversial television movie, Frogmen?
Shoulder pass is about as violent as I want it to get.
The networks may decide not to play it, but Entertainment Tonight's the only place that will. Then, a cop gives a waitress a $2 million tip? Yeah, right. This may seem a little far-fetched, but we'll show you how it could happen to you on Entertainment Tonight.
Entertainment Tonight at 7, following Pulse.
Escape. Escape to white sands and blue water. Escape to Le Sablon, just 45 minutes from Montreal. Le Sablon is a perfect setting for a family or group outing. Le Sablon is more than a beach. It's an oasis of fun, with clean water, shady picnic and barbecue spots, and activities for everyone, on land and in the water. This summer, escape to Le Sablon, just $6 per adult. Take Highway 20 west towards Toronto, exit 6, and follow the signs.
Running injuries. You name them, I've had them. The injury I never expected to get was skin cancer, but a few years ago, I did. All those hours of running in the sun had taken their toll. I was lucky. My cancer was discovered early. It was treated early. It's gone. And now, whenever I go for a run, I cover up. A hat, long sleeves, and a sunscreen. You should too. Play it safe in the sun.
A message from the Canadian Dermatology Association.
A Turkish air raid has killed at least 70 rebel Kurds in Iraq. The raid also destroyed a munitions store. Turkish officials say the rebels were preparing a cross-border attack into Turkey. Turkish forces often mount airstrikes on rebel camps along the border, and that military campaign was intensified this year after the government pledged to control what it calls separatist terrorism. Another nervous day in London. In the early morning, London time, another car bomb rocked another Jewish site. Scotland Yard says it is drastically increasing security at prominent Jewish sites all around Britain. Hal Walker has the story.
The building that houses the Joint Israel Appeal, a major Jewish fundraising organization, was the target of a second terrorist car bomb in London within just 12 hours. 5 people were treated for superficial injuries in the blast, 3 of whom happened to be driving past when the car exploded. Windows in neighboring buildings were blown out, but no serious injuries were reported.
There was 2 girls being carried away by ambulance, and all there was just 4 wheels. The car had just exploded. All the windows in the high road all shattered.
Authorities said the explosion did not cause any structural damage, but it did demonstrate how easily security precautions can be breached. This was demonstrated earlier when an even more powerful device went off outside the Israeli embassy in London's borough of Kensington. 14 people were injured in that blast, which occurred on a street containing several other embassies and a royal palace. Shoppers along the fashionable Main Street were evacuated and the area cordoned off by police, fearful of a second explosion. The terrorist attacks follow on recent threats by Arab fundamentalists bent on derailing Middle East peace negotiations. In light of these, the chairman of Britain's Jewish Board of Deputies complains that police security was lax.
I think if there had been a sufficiently high level of security, hopefully both of these tragedies would have been averted.
Some Middle East intelligence sources say that these bombs are part of a terror campaign against Israel orchestrated by a fundamentalist Hezbollah commander out of Tehran. Hal Walker, ABC News, London.
It was 41 years ago yesterday that Fidel Castro emerged as a rebel leader in Cuba. There were celebrations to mark the occasion, celebrations dedicated to Cuba's youth. But the generation raised during Castro's regime is experiencing a decline in the quality of life. Mark Potter with that.
At a street market in Havana, which caters to foreign tourists, young Cuban professionals have quit their jobs in order to sell trinkets for U.S. dollars. For this lawyer, one sale in the tourist market pays more than he used to make in an entire month.
I just made $3.50. That's 350 pesos, a physician's monthly salary.
Since his revolution 35 years ago, Fidel Castro has been promising a better life and a brighter future. Indeed, everyone in Cuba is provided free health care and schooling. But this highly educated population is suffering now. Long lines, shortages of medicine, food, and fuel, and endless power failures have made life a daily grind. Since the early 90s, Cuba has lost billions of dollars in trade and subsidies from the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, and the government-controlled economy is in shambles. For the 7 million Cubans under 35 years of age, 2/3 of the population, it is particularly frustrating. Jobs for which they were trained are in short supply. Rather than confront the powerful state security system, thousands of young Cubans a year choose instead to flee the island on rafts and boats. Many others just hang out on the beaches and streets, afraid the revolution may have been for their parents, but not for them. Mark Potter, ABC News, Havana.
And finally, making fashion fit just right. We've been hearing a lot lately about virtual reality, though its intricacies are lost on many of us. Many of virtual reality's applications thus far have been recreational, sort of like the ultimate video game. But its potential is vast, and now the fashion industry is taking a closer look at the technology.
Fashion and computers seem an unlikely combination, but there's more to these designs than meets the eye. Many of these cuts and colors and fabrics first came together in an experimental three-dimensional computer program. British software designers have copied the movements of a human model skeleton into computer memory. The machine then transformed the information into an on-screen runway model.
Ultimately, we would like to give a 3D software package tool to a fashion designer who would then be able to actually simulate clothing prior to manufacture to reduce some of the amount of time it takes in discussing a garment before it's made up in the real world.
The program even allows the user to simulate different fabrics and textures and how they react to body movements.
Virtual reality it could be the future of things, yeah, definitely.
These pilots are flying in a plane that's only just starting to be built, the Boeing 777. They did it by climbing into this machine called the CAE Max View Full Flight Simulator. Inside, it's an exact copy of a real cockpit, down to the tiniest gauge and button. The Max View allows flight crews to practice reacting to all kinds of simulated weather and mechanical conditions.
Today in North America, an airline pilot cannot fly a commercial airline without being able to train on a simulator, and MaxView is part of that training equipment.
Pilots can also experience landings and takeoffs at real-life airports built from satellite, aerial, and ground-level photos. The design for the 777 simulator was developed right along with the plans for the real plane. That aircraft just made its first flight last month. And for those who find cutting the lawn a real chore, take a look at the future. It's an experimental solar-powered robot-controlled lawn mower. 28 solar panels provide the mower with its power. An insulated wire keeps the mower on your lawn. Tap in an ID number and the machine quietly comes to life. When the mower runs too low on power, it stops and lets the sun recharge its batteries. But engineers say steep inclines and lawns with many trees are obstacles yet to be overcome.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Expos 8 in a row, going for 9 wins.
Yes, if they can get it in. The Expos are supposed to play the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta this afternoon. They were due to start at 12:40. Going for the sweep, but this is the scene at Fulton County Stadium right now. It's been raining all morning in Atlanta, and they are now in the midst of a rain delay. Kent Merker is due to pitch for the Braves. Ken Hill going for his 15th of the year for the Expos. Last night, the Expos got an early lead, and the Braves caved in. 5-3 final, as Montreal jumps 3.5 games in front with their 8th victory in a row.
So, look who's falling apart under the pressure. First inning, after an infield hit, Marquis steals second. Moises then hits it to the wall in right field. Dave Justice has it, and then he doesn't have it. A 3-base error. Grissom scores. It's 1-0. Second inning, Lansing aboard on an infield hit. He steals second. Butch Henry then hits a chopper over the mound. Lansing comes on to score. It's 2-0. Now it's 2-2 in the 7th. Cordero hits it right through Jeff Blauser's legs for an error. Lansing loops it to center field. Roberto Kelly can't hold the ball. Cordero eventually scores on an infield out. Runner aboard, and Butch Henry is asked to bunt. Well, Maddox let it drop and then threw it away, going for the double play at first, and threw it away badly. Second 3-base error of the game. Berry scored. Henry later scored on a sacrifice. The firm of Rojas and Wetland then put it away again. Wetland's 20th save. They like to talk about the Braves' four-man starting rotation. How about those Expos starters? Ken Hill's on the mound right now, going for his 15th of the year. Henry's now 8-2. Pissarro and Martinez are 8-game winners as well. That's 38-17 overall with a 3.23 staff average. And we haven't even included Kirk Reeder's erratic 6-2 season record.
Well, there are some very good races going on this year, in this year of expanded playoff eligibility. The Dodgers and the Giants are facing off in a battle for the West Division lead.
First to Cincinnati, where Houston's Jeff Bagwell hit his 33rd homer of the year and ran his RBI total to 101 for the season. First to reach 100 in the majors. Bagwell has more RBIs than games played and joins some pretty illustrious players in that category, including the greatest RBI man of them all, the Cubs' Hack Wilson, also Rogers Hornsby, Chuck Klein, and Mel Ott. Bagwell with 101 RBIs in 94 games. When Barry Bonds stole second on the Dodgers' Orel Hershiser, it was his 300th stolen base of his career. 250 homers, 300 stolen bases. Only a few have done that, including Barry's father, Bobby. And Matt Williams got a 3-1 fastball from Hershiser and yanked it out of Candlestick for his 38th homer of the year. That's tops in the majors. Everyone's on the home run watch, even with the strike looming. Roger Maris hit 40 home runs his first 101 games in his record-breaking season. Williams just 2 behind Roger's pace. Giants win 12-5. Tough game this baseball. Watch the backswing of Chicago's Warren Newsom off the side of catcher Mike McFarland's head, and he goes down for a long time. McFarland had to leave the game. He'll survive it all, but he has a headache. Got to keep these football players out of the game. Deion Sanders decides to do it to Houston Scott Service without the shoulder pads on. And Deion is safe. Service stayed in the game. One for the guys in the truck, the cameraman of the day on this long fly ball from Leo Gomez. He follows it perfectly, in frame and in focus, right into the seats at Camden Yards. Home run Gomez, and he had them all the way. And they're climbing walls everywhere. Same ballpark, the Indians' Kenny Lofton on a long drive by Cal Ripken. He goes up, he goes over, and he comes back with the ball. One more time, Kenny Lofton of the Indians for our play of the day.
Still raining in Atlanta.
Thank you very much, Ron. We'll be right back.
Introducing a Little Downy. Ultra Downy. It's much smaller, and just one tiny capful gives you the fluffiest softness. Watch.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Case closed. Ultra Downy. One tiny capful for the height of softness.
Now, choose the makeup that's made for your skin's specific needs. Discover the CoverGirl Face Collection. Good to your skin formulas for your type of skin. Normal or combination skin? Perfect it with clean makeup, with clean Noxema ingredients. Oily, shiny skin? Fresh Complexion Oil Control Makeup controls it beautifully. Dry skin? Moisture Wear Makeup cares for it. The CoverGirl Face Collection. The clean, fresh, natural look of beautiful for your type of skin.
And that's Pulse for Wednesday, July the 27th. Have a good afternoon.